Welcome to anyone who is listening right now. I have been wanting to come on here and have some type of conversation, and it just recently occurred to me that I can do so without really having to be on camera. So, welcome to anyone who's here. I am Dr. Portia Preston, author of Hustle, Flow, or Let It Go, a guide to shape your wellness that honors your reality and gets you life. And I just wanted to come on and reflect on how we are navigating through this time. How do we create space to check on ourselves? It's very easy to be so inundated with everything that is coming at us in our day to day lives, just our personal responsibilities, obligations we have, the endless to do lists. And did I mention what's going on in the larger world? It can be so overwhelming and just completely take you out. And I know that for me, it's been a bit of a struggle recently. I developed a new health condition, or at least it came on my radar about a month ago. Started with a unpredicted hospital stay. And so right now we're navigating the process of care, just like finding out what's going on and being patient and looking for answers, but to not put you in incredible suspense, we're really just looking at the pressure that is on my optic nerve, my eyes, and just taking precautions. So I'll spare you the details, but it's something that I'm keeping my eye on, literally. And I have been doing a lot of travel related to the book. I've been in exceptionally warm communities. I'm so grateful for the type of community that this work attracts. I had the privilege of being a keynote speaker at the annual meeting for the National Organization of Black elected legislative women. And to give you an idea of how amazing this conference was, the people that went before me that morning were Representative Jasmine Crockett and Roland Martin and Dr. K.L. Cates. So it was a really awesome experience. We actually had an evening where the participants, who, like I said, are all elected, uh, mostly state legislators, we attended a reception at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. And it was incredible. I got to see a replica of the White House. But more importantly, I was in community with these amazing, special women each day and just grateful for the deep well of love and energy that they pour into serving their communities. So it really left an impression on me. And I was very happy to be able to pour back into them some strategy to help them care for themselves. And it was a very intimate conversation. I really like that. One thing about how I speak, I tend to spend time with the community before I speak to them so that I have an idea of where they are, what their priorities are. And so it was really a wonderful experience. And I would say maybe a week or two after that, I was in McLean, Virginia at Capital One. They had a Blacks in Tech Summit, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I did a fireside chat with Awa Teh of Capital One and Dr. Susanna Rowe, who's an ophthalmologist at Boston Medical Center and does a lot of work around burnout. And we had this amazing, powerful conversation about really understanding the nature and manifestation of burnout in the tech space and really helping to equip people to more effectively detect and respond and calling out things that can be done at the organizational level. And I just have to say, Capital One did such an amazing job in terms of creating community among the speakers, but also making sure that we got to talk to people that worked at the company. And I just had such an amazing time there. So hats off to that team. And I would say maybe oof, a week or no, yeah, about a week after that, I went to an eye appointment, standard eye appointment, and my doctor saw something, so they said, "Okay, we're gonna run another test." And then they ran the test a few times, and then they said, "Okay, he'd like to talk to you before you go home." So I knew something was happening, but all right, let me stay present, pick up my glasses, and we get to this point where he's like, "I need you to go to the ER immediately." I said, "What?" I always say this is the moment where my life turns very Grey's Anatomy. But he saw pressure on my optic nerves, and we needed to know what the root cause of that might be. And the type of testing that I needed done is often best secured by going through the ER. So, to medical history, and we were off to the ER. And something told me to pack for overnight. What I did not anticipate was being in the hospital for 5 days. So we got three MRIs, and then I think it took a day or two. We eventually got a lumbar spinal tap, and then I kind of had to recover from that procedure. That's really kind of put me out of whack. And what we just determined, we were able to rule out no brain mass, tumor, etc., which is wonderful. But I did have a high opening pressure for my cerebral spinal fluid, and so once I was able to go home and follow up, the outpatient care, I've established care with an ophthalmologist, may or may not be bringing in neurology, we'll see. And we just continue to test, but we're trying out several different medications, and it just takes time to get used to new meds. The meds I'm taking right now, when I first started, I kid you not, I was napping for 2 hours in the middle of the day. I was just sleeping all the time, and I'm like, this cannot be my life. And I'm pretty happy to say that after a few weeks, I got used to it, and I can have a functional life again, which I'm very grateful for. So how was that? And so I was home for I think I got to stay home for a good bit after that, at least maybe 2 weeks. We'll say almost 2 weeks. And then I went to Vermont for the National Education. Well, let me see what it stands for. New York State and New England College Health Associations. So these are all of the healthcare professionals on college campuses that are in the New York and New England area. And I've had the privilege of working with Higher Education Vermont for the past 2 years. And behind the scenes, we're really hoping that we could pull something together where I would be able to meet with everyone in person. And so this was the opportunity to do that. And we gathered in Virginia, Vermont. My side effects really were popping as a result of some unexpected travel delays on the way out there. Let's just say my trip to Vermont should have probably been 7 hours total, and it was more like 24 without sleep. So, pretty symptomatic the first couple of days. There really deep nausea. Um, but eventually got it together and had an amazing, amazing time doing a keynote for um, these healthcare professionals. I think that I titled that talk "Mending the Cracks," and it was about the importance of like addressing the humanity and needs of the staff who are caring for the students. So that went over very well. I was really happy that I was able to, because I travel out early, I was able to absorb the lost time. I was able to get rest and actually attend a few sessions before I started with them. So that's just a must for me heading moving forward for going to the East Coast. I'm probably going to try to come out a day and a half early. So it's not overkill when things are unpredictable. So after that, I really got to enjoy Vermont. Had a beautiful time at I believe it's called the Bar Basic Harbor Resort. They're into their fall foliage. We were right on Lake Champlain, overlooking the Adirondack Mountains in New York. And if I got anything wrong with pronunciation, feel free to correct me. That's totally fine. But we had a wonderful time. And I was able to stay for the weekend because I transitioned to doing a few events at Middlebury College. So on Saturday, we had a neurodiversity and wellness day for students. And I adored this day. It was just done so beautifully. The counseling center at Middlebury has really been intentional about reaching out to students who identify as neurodivergent and creating groups to help them understand and work through the challenges that they're experiencing. And it was the reason I feel so special about this talk is that it was really carefully curated. They had so many sensory considerations. They were very flexible so that people could come and go during the day as they needed to, which I thought was very thoughtful. Um, they really did a great job of just making people feel welcome and at ease. And I personally loved that there were students who were from marginalized backgrounds like myself and neurodivergent. And so I loved that I got to be that representation to them and talk to them about their experiences. And so that was just a very, I think, healing day for all of us. Um, because I think we spend a lot of time masking these needs and pretending that they don't exist. So for us, being able to say, no, this is what I deal with every day. This is how it affects me, and this is what I need. Um, it's liberating. Very, 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 very good, like, feeling. Um, so I was happy to do that, and then I had my true free day, and I probably tried to mentally force myself to work, and my body was like, "You're not doing anything." And so I eventually took a walk, um, just through the town of Middlebury, went and grabbed some dinner, and I'm so happy I did because it actually, like, rained for the remainder of my stay. But that was my attempt to put some care back into myself. I was very grateful the last 3 days there, I was not symptomatic, no headaches, no nausea, just good. So, yeah, that's all I've been up to. Also trying to be a good professor, which is a very hard when you have so much going on, but I'm doing my best. And my students, I think, because they are dealing with so much, um, they're grateful that I'm being gracious with them. And I just kind of keep the big picture in mind. I'm like, okay, we have these objectives that we have to fulfill. We have to be able to assess you on. It's important that you be writing and reflecting frequently on what you're learning and experiencing. And beyond that, we don't need to make this harder than it already is. So I very much appreciate that. So that is, in a nutshell, what I've been up to. Now I am not going to be traveling for a moment. I am really grateful for that because I feel like I need time to just sit and decompress and process everything that I've been experiencing. I need to figure out what kind of support I need, both to deal with my condition as well as to standardize my classes. There's just been so much that would have benefited from structure if I'd had the time to set it up. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that for myself now. But I share all that with you to just say that life is rarely perfect. It's always going to be a negotiation of, do I do these things on my to-do list or do I rest? Do I do this thing to make this other person happy, or do I speak up and be honest about my needs? And I want to reassure you that I go through that all the time. And as you reflect on your past days, week, or month, I want you to think about, what are the feelings that come up for you? What is it that you've been longing to say to yourself that you really need to hear? Maybe you need to tell your body, I've got your back. I will care for you. And maybe you need to hear, it's okay to feel what I feel. Um, with everything that's going on in all the world, I am feeling a range of emotions at any given time. And the thing that I do this sometimes and I forget other times, let myself feel the exact feelings I'm having about the world. So if there are moments where I'm in despair, feel that, feel that despair and name it. Because if I don't, how on earth do I expect to be able to get through it. We are so conditioned to numb and suppress. And there's no reason for that. There's no reason to pretend that you're fine when things aren't fine. Who does that serve? So again, whether the source of that is your roles and responsibilities or what's happening in the larger world, looming uncertainty, I got to tell you, a funny thing to me now is I've been having nausea for months, not knowing it was a symptom of my condition. I thought everybody was nauseated. I thought it was literally the state of the world. And I was going through this deep nausea every single morning and just convincing myself, oh, I just need to feel safe and I just need to, do this and do that. And then I'll, you know, par for the course, I'll be okay. Nope, comes to find out that's actually part of the pressure on my optic nerve. And yeah, so that's my point. Listen to all of the things that you are experiencing right now. Um, in my book, Hustle, Flow, or Let It Go, I really go into detail on the different types of wellness. Um, so emotional, cognitive, social, you know, um, thinking about your roles and responsibilities and what you need to be able to show up. Where's the hustle showing up in your life? Where do you need to let go? And I want to close with maybe perhaps reflecting on what it means to let go right now. Something that came up in my talks was an apprehension to let go because people said, what if there's nothing there to catch me? And I said, well, that's why Let It Go actually has a question mark in the book title, because I want you to think about what are you letting go of? Sometimes letting go is setting a boundary. I'm letting go of being okay with being treated in this way. I am letting go of people being able to demand everything from me and suppressing my emotions. I'm letting go of acting like everything is fine. I'm letting go of telling myself I have to do everything perfectly. I'm letting go of this idea that I have to somehow figure out how to save the world. When we put these bags down, we can change our approach inside. How do we show up for ourselves? How do we go through things? And that has been such a game changer for me. I work on myself more than anything else. And then I see the product and how I treat other people, how I show up. So I want to say thank you so much to Angie and Gabrielle for listening to me live. You guys really made my heart smile today. And anyone else who listens to this, I am so grateful to be in your community. And thank you for giving me permission to figure things out on my own terms. I realize that so much of the social media is really overstimulating for me. And this is something that feels good and it feels right. So I'm going to see how this goes and maybe lean into a little more. But I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have not checked out my book yet, you can go to PortiaPreston.com. That's PortiaPreston. And what you will find there, I actually will read the first couple of pages of the book out loud to you. You will find a 45-minute sample of the audiobook, and you can also sign up for an excerpt of the book if you want to be able to read it yourself. And from there, you can request it at any bookstore. We're listed on Ingram. It's available at all major retailers. Once again, it's called Hustle, Flow, or Let It Go, a guide to shame-free wellness that honors your reality and gives you life. So I will see you around on Substack and all other social media, at least the ones I can tolerate right now, at Dr. Portia Preston, DrPortiaPreston. And one last thing I forgot to plug, I am actually now a columnist at Psychology Today. And my first blog came out this past week. So you can just Google Psychology Today and my name, and you should find 5 tips to shame-free wellness. All right. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.